From broken to unbreakable, God's blueprint for your soft girl era. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, where we create sacred space for high achieving Black women to exhale, heal, and reclaim their joy. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And today I'm bringing you something that will shake your soul and rebuild your foundation. I recently had the honor of sitting down with Shaffona Morgan, a woman whose life screams resilience, redemption, and radical transformation. Shaffona's journey from incarceration as a youth to turning her life completely around, getting her record expunged, and now pouring boldly into her community is nothing short of miraculous. She's not just surviving, she's thriving and lifting entire communities with her bare hands and her unshakable faith. Shaffona is living proof that God uses brokenness to rebuild you on a firm foundation. And that message, that truth, is what we're unpacking today. Because here's the thing, we've all been broken. Maybe not in the same way, maybe not with the same scars, but broken nonetheless. And if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you've spent years holding it together, you wearing that superwoman cape, leading teams, raising families, carrying communities on your back while your own foundation was cracking beneath you. You've survived, but surviving isn't the same as thriving. And God didn't bring you this far just to leave you stuck in survival mode. Shafona reminded me during our conversation that brokenness isn't the end of your story. It's the setup for God's breakthrough. Every crack in your life, every fracture, every moment you thought would destroy you, that's where his light shines through, turning pain into purpose. And I don't know about you, but I needed to hear that because sometimes when you're in the middle of the mess, it's hard to see the miracle forming. Let me share three truths Shafona dropped during our interview that I want you to carry with you long after this episode ends. First, brokenness is your setup for God's breakthrough, not your breakdown, your breakthrough. Every single crack in your life is an opportunity for divine light to pour in and illuminate a path you couldn't see before. When you're whole, you think you've got it all figured out. But when you're broken, that's when you finally surrender control and let God do what only He can do, rebuild you stronger, wiser, softer, and more grounded than you've ever been. Second, surrender the shards and He'll rebuild stronger. You've been holding on to pieces of your past, trying to glue them back together yourself, haven't you? Stop. Release the mess. Let go of the shame, the guilt, the what ifs, and the should haves. God doesn't need your broken piece to look pretty. He needs your permission to take them and craft a foundation so firm that earthquakes can't shake it. That's the kind of rebuild we're talking about, not a quick fix. A complete renovation from the inside out. Third, give back from the rebuild. Once you're standing firm, once God has done his work and you're no longer just surviving, but thriving in your soft girl era, it's time to pour into your community like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your healing isn't just for you, it's for the young girl watching you, wondering if she can make it. It's for the woman sitting in the same broken place you once sat, needing to see that redemption is real. Your story becomes someone else's survival guide. Now, let me take you deeper into this truth by sharing three powerful stories of Black women who lived this exact journey. Women who were broken, surrendered, and rebuilt by God into unshakable forces of nature. Let's start with Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty in rural Mississippi, Oprah's childhood was marked by trauma most of us can't even fathom. Sexual abuse starting at age 9, teen pregnancy, a mother who dismissed her pain. She ran away, lost her baby, and found herself emotionally shattered at 14. Imagine that for a moment. 14 years old, alone, broken. Most people would have stayed there, trapped in that pain. But Oprah didn't. Here's where the story shifts. Oprah didn't stay broken. She embraced faith, therapy, and relentless self education, She surrendered her pain to God and allowed Him to rebuild her. That broken girl found solace in church and local radio, where her voice began healing her fractures. And from that foundation, she launched The Oprah Winfrey Show, reaching 20 million viewers weekly, built a $2.5 billion empire, won 21 daytime Emmys, and revolutionized talk shows forever. But more than that, she empowered millions of Black women globally through philanthropy like the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy. Oprah's broken childhood was rebuilt by God into an unshakable foundation of influence and giving back. That's the blueprint. That's what happens when you surrender the shards and let God rebuild you on a firm foundation. Then there's Madam C.J. Walker, America's first self made female millionaire. Born Sarah Breedlove in the post slavery South, she faced hair loss from harsh conditions, widowhood, and crushing poverty. Orphaned young, married at 14, widowed at 20 with a daughter to raise, she washed laundry just to survive. Can you imagine washing other people's clothes day after day? Your hands raw, your back aching, wondering if this is all life has for you. But Madam Walker turned to prayer and experimentation, developing hair products while trusting God to rebuild her from destitution. She had a divine dream that sparked her formula, and from that moment, everything changed. She trained 40,000 Black women agents, amassed a fortune, and built lavish factories that employed hundreds. She pioneered Black female entrepreneurship and funded NOACP efforts, uplifting Black communities economically. Madam Walker's physical and financial brokenness was God's canvas for a firm business foundation. She didn't just rebuild her life, she rebuilt an entire community. She took her pain, her hair loss, her poverty, and turned it into a movement that lifted thousands of Black women out of poverty. That's what giving back from the rebuild looks like. And finally, Alicia Keys, Grammy winning artist from Hell's Kitchen, New York, who shattered industry exploitation to own her narrative. Alicia grew up in the projects with a single mom, and at 16, she signed a predatory contract that stripped her of creative control. She battled self doubt, industry racism, and personal heartbreaks. The music industry tried to break her, tried to make her into something she wasn't, tried to steal her voice. But at 19, she walked away in faith, prayed through the wilderness, and rebuilt independently with God's guidance. Her debut album, Songs in a Minor, sold over 12 million copies. She won 15 Grammys, launched AK Records to empower other artists, and co founded Keep a Child Alive to aid African AIDS communities. Alicia's career brokenness was rebuilt by God into a sovereign foundation, and she's been giving back boldly ever since. Do you see the pattern here? Oprah, Madam Walker, Alicia Keys, Shaffona Morgan. These women didn't just survive their brokenness, they surrendered it, let God rebuild them, and then turned around and poured into their communities with everything they had. That's the soft girl era in action. It's not about being weak or passive, it's about being so secure in your rebuild that you can afford to be soft, to rest, to say no without guilt, and to give back without losing yourself. So here's what I need you to understand: your brokenness is not a liability, it's your greatest asset. It's the very thing God will use to rebuild you into something the world has never seen before. But you have to surrender it. You have to stop trying to fix yourself and let God do the fixing. You have to release the cape, drop the mask, and admit that you can't do this alone. And when you do, when you finally surrender those shards, God will rebuild you on a foundation so firm that nothing can shake it. Not trauma, not racism, not poverty, not betrayal, not loss, nothing. Because a foundation built by God is unshakable. But here's the part we often miss: the rebuild isn't just for you, it's for the community you're going to serve. It's for the young girl who needs to see that redemption is real. It's for the woman sitting in the same broken place you once sat, wondering if she'll ever make it out. Your story becomes her survival guide. Your healing becomes her hope. This is your soft girl era. This is your sacred pause, your deep exhale from the superwoman script, your quiet but powerful return to softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. You don't have to carry the weight anymore. You don't have to prove your strength by staying broken. You can surrender, you can rebuild, and you can give back from a place of overflow instead of depletion. Shaffona Morgan's story, along with the stories of Oprah, Madam Walker, and Alicia Keys, reminds us that God specializes in taking what the world calls ruined and turning it into something remarkable. He takes the broken and makes it unbreakable. He takes the shattered and makes it sacred. And he's ready to do the same for you if you'll let him. So here's my challenge to you. This week, I want you to audit your broken places. Get out a journal, sit in a quiet space, and write them down. Every wound, every scar, every place where you're still holding on to shards. Then pray over them boldly. Ask God to take those pieces and rebuild you on a firm foundation. And here's the kicker: take one step toward your rebuild. Maybe that's mentoring a young woman in your community. Maybe it's finally launching that side hustle you've been sitting on. Maybe it's setting a boundary you've been too afraid to set. Whatever it is, do it because God's waiting to make it firm, but He needs you to move. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting until you feel ready. You'll never feel ready. But God is ready. He's been ready. He's been waiting for you to surrender those shards so He can rebuild you into the unshakable woman you were always meant to be. Your pain isn't pointless. Your struggle isn't in vain. Every tear you've cried, every night you've stayed up wondering if you'd make it, every moment you felt like giving up, God was there, collecting those pieces, preparing to rebuild you into something the world has never seen before. So today, I'm giving you permission to rest, permission to heal, permission to release the cape and embrace the softness you've been denying yourself, permission to trust that your brokenness is not your identity. It's your invitation to a firmer foundation than you've ever known. God uses brokenness to rebuild you on a firm foundation. That's the message Shaffona Morgan shared with me. And that's the message I'm leaving you with today. Take it, hold it, live it, and watch what God does when you finally surrender the shards and let Him rebuild you into the unshakable woman you were always meant to be. Now go audit those broken places, pray boldly, take that one step, and watch God turn your brokenness into your greatest breakthrough. Your soft girl era is waiting, and so is your firm foundation.